95% of your life is coming from the program. Your life is a printout of your program. Look at your life right now. Point. The things that you like that come in, that you really like them when they're there, they come in because you have a program to acknowledge that. The things you desire, wish for, want, and you find yourself working hard, struggling, sweating, putting a lot of effort. I'm making this happen. I'm making it happen. I go, why are you working so hard? And the answer is so profoundly important. It is, and that is because the program you have does not support that conclusion. And therefore, you are going to try to use your conscious effort to override the program. That's where the effort comes from. Yeah. And I go, and how successful is that? I go, well, since your conscious mind's working 5% of the day, hasn't been that successful anyway, so it's not going to change. You want to change, you have to rewrite the program. I said, well, how do I know what the program is? Well, I just said, if I'm looking for a relationship, I'm failing, then basically I have no good relationship program. So I want to make a change. So I want to put in a new program that enhances my relationship. And I go, well, this is where the problem comes. Remember, I said the mind has two functions. Conscious mind is creative. Subconscious mind is habit. Okay. Conscious mind, being creative, can learn in any number of ways. Julie, we're watching this podcast, read a book, go to a video, go to a lecture. You can learn. You can just go, aha, a new idea. I just changed consciousness. Subconscious is habit mind. I go, why is it relevant? If a habit could change easily, then it's not a habit. And I don't want a habit to change easily. I'm glad I learned how to walk before I was 2, because I could spend the rest of my life walking without learning how to walk again. It's great. Drive a car. Once I learned how to drive a car, I don't have to think of the details like I did the first day I got behind the wheel. It was like this, but now I drive a car without thinking of the details, okay? Habits are good if they're good. But if a habit is bad, then unconsciously it will sabotage you, because when you play habits, you're playing them because you're not paying attention. So a bad habit in there will show up as making you a victim. I want to be successful. It didn't work. Damn, it's the outside. And I go, no, damn, it's the inside. Because during that 95% of the day, you were sabotaging yourself like Bill, and you didn't see it. So I say, okay. So the habit mind learns in a different way, and that's where the crux of the problem comes from, because, oh, it's so hard to change a habit. I go, it's hard if you don't know how to put a habit in. And you have to recognize habits resist change because they're called habits. And so I say, well, how can you rewrite it? I say, you have to use a different approach to writing. You have to, I say, how did you learn in your subconscious in the first place? Oh, the first 7 years, my brain was working at a lower vibration of consciousness called theta, which is hypnosis. I go, oh, so if you can get into hypnosis, quiet your brain down, you can download a program straight into the subconscious. I go, that's why in the old fashioned days when the hypnotherapist had a watch, and he would say, watch the watch, watch it. And it says, you're getting tired, you're getting sleepy. I say, why was that relevant? Consciousness is a higher vibration. Theta is a lower vibration. If I want to put theta in, because theta doesn't go into conscious mind, theta goes into subconscious. That's how you got your program. Theta, your conscious mind wasn't even working. You just took whatever you experienced, downloaded. So if I can get into theta, I can reprogram. I go, every night when you go to bed, when the conscious mind disconnects, the brain is slowing down, going towards sleep, which is delta. But between the moment when you close your eyes, I'm now sleeping, and before it gets to delta, it's now in theta. So that's why if you put earphones on, playing a program with the program you want to be true in your life, you know, positive program. And I say, what do you do? I say, you put the earphones on, you go into the bed. While you're awake, you might hear something on the tape or the CD. And I go, but the moment you go to sleep, conscious mind's off, but theta, download, is working. So whatever is being played through those earphones is not going into the conscious mind, it's going straight into the subconscious. That's where the habits go. That's how you got the first 7 years of habits, okay? And I say, yeah, but you still learn things, how to drive a car after age 7. I say, oh, how did I learn new habits? Repetition. I made a habit by repeating something, a practice. I got to repeat it, and I got to repeat it, and I got to repeat it. That's how I learn. So I say, I love it because the new age thing is called fake it till you make it. Meaning, let's say you're not a happy person, but you want to be a happy person. Then I say, what you do is what? You repeat every day as many times during the day as you can, no matter where you are. Oh, I am happy. Of course you're not happy. Look around. You're not happy about anything. But I say, no, keep saying I am happy. Repetition of that. You keep repeating it, and that's how the subconscious mind learns. Repetition, practice. So fake it till you make it. Just keep saying I am happy, regardless if you're not. And then there's one day you won't ever have to say it again because you'll wake up, and by then the subconscious has learned, and it will keep you in happy. That its job is to manifest the program.
Yeah.
So I put in happy program. Once I put it in, I don't even have to think about being happy anymore. It's doing it all of the time. Okay, so the first way is hypnosis. Second way is repetition. And the third way is the most valuable new one for this problem, because I said we're facing a mass extinction due to human behavior. We have to change behavior quickly. So guess what? There's a new version of changing subconscious behavior. It's called energy psychology. And I say it's based on what? Super learning. What the hell is super learning? I say, maybe you've seen somebody read a book by taking their finger and moving it down the page. As fast as they move the finger down the page, they read every word on the page. That's super learning. So you can stand in a bookstore, turn page, flip, and read every page, read a book in 5 minutes. Okay. But if you use that process to engage a learning in the subconscious, then all of a sudden the days or weeks of the old way of habit forming and that other, the hypnosis and all that, that takes time. But with energy psychology, engaging a super learning process, you can rewrite a belief in minutes. And it's like, oh my God, yes, necessity is the mother of invention. We have the absolute necessity to change our behavior on this planet right now because our behavior is causing the extinction and we need to change. So nature says, here, you want some new change? Fast energy psychology. All of you should get on it right away, because why waste another minute of your life operating from disempowering programs when you can, in minutes, rewrite? And I say, well, how many ways are there to do it? And I say, on my website, simplebrucelipton.com, I have under resources about 25 different versions of energy psychology, all of them working. You could pick one that satisfies your interest by reading the description and pick one of those. Because if you do this, you can rewrite your life. And I go, wow, that's really great. And I say, closing, because I need to say this now. My last book was called The Honeymoon Effect. And what was the emphasis? And I said, every day of our life is blah, 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 because of whatever programs in our subconscious that are preventing us from experiencing the thrill of heaven on earth. Blah, 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 blah. Then you meet somebody. And I just want to emphasize, being in love doesn't necessarily mean with another person. You can be in love with a pet. You can be in love with gardening. You can be in love with cooking. Something that you do that gives you so much joy that you keep your mind present. Being in love says keep your mind present. So when you're doing something you like, you're not defaulting to the subconscious. You're doing from the present consciousness creative. So I say, look, blah, 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 blah. Every day of your life, you meet this person, using love in this case from a person. I say, what happens? In 24 hours after meeting this person, your life transitions from blah, blah, blah to heaven on earth. The honeymoon is heaven on earth. Honeymoon is, oh my, so much love, and the food's great, and the music's great, the job that used to suck at, who cares? It's not so bad anymore. And I go, wow. In 24 hours, you took an entire life of blah, blah, blah and turned it into heaven on earth. I go, what the hell was responsible for that? And the answer was, what would happen if you stopped playing the program? Because now we know love stops playing the program because you stop thinking and you stay present, being called mindful. And I say, why? What's the situation? I say, it's when you're thinking that the subconscious makes its programs and plays them. But if you're not thinking, then you are still consciously holding onto the wheel. Consciousness has wishes and desires. So I say, what happens in 24 hours from just stop playing the damn program? In 24 hours, you go from blah, blah, blah to heaven on earth. And that's called the honeymoon. It's not an accident. It's a co-creation with your partner who is also operating from the conscious mind, wishes and desires, together collectively manifesting wishes and desires 24 hours. That's all it took to stop playing the program. And it's living heaven on earth. And then I say, but the honeymoon doesn't always last. And I go, yeah, well, here's the problem. And the problem is I could stay mindful for as long as I can, but sometimes I have to think. I have to, oh, I got a job, I got chores, I got responsibilities. I start thinking, I say, oh, what happened? You were having a honeymoon. What was the honeymoon based on? Just using the creative wishes and desires. And all of a sudden I say, then all of a sudden one day you start thinking, and then what happens? I say, oh, a new voice comes out. The subconscious programs, which are what? Many of them, disempowering. Your partner has never seen disempowering programs, because when you met your partner, both of you stopped playing programs. Both of you started doing wishes and desires. That's how you manifested heaven. But the moment one or both of you start thinking, then that other voice shows up, the subconscious, which didn't play. But once it shows up, guess what? Those behaviors suck. And all of a sudden, that heaven on earth joy of a honeymoon starts to disappear. Doesn't mean you don't love that person, but you love them. But the juiciness of that joy that you first had disappears. Why? Because now you're blending in the crap programs from your subconscious that never played when you created heaven on earth. So the story is the story of the Matrix is a documentary because A, we all got programmed, and B, you can get out of the program by taking the red pill. And the example that most of us have had without knowing it is falling in love is the red pill. And the moment you start falling in love, your life improved and everything was like the greatest it could ever be. I go, it was always that way. It was always available. It was your own subconscious program that was undermining your heaven on earth desire. It's always there. And so now's an opportunity for us to wake up, recognize if my life isn't working right, I don't need to go out and change the damn world. First, I have to go and change my own consciousness. That's the old hippie statement. Long before you were born, Julie, there was a hippie statement that said, before you go out and save the world, take care of your own backyard. Well, this is exactly what I mean by this. Before we go out and try to change the world, if we're still living from the crummy programs, then we're not going to make the world any better, because 95% of the day we're going to play those programs. But if you rewrite those programs and put in all the programs of positive things, love and health and all that other stuff, you don't even have to work anymore. Why? You could think all day long, because when you now default to the subconscious, the programs aren't going to sabotage you. Right. They're going to manifest your wishes and your desires. And that's the coolest part. You don't have to work on this every day of your life. Once you put the new program in, it's automatic. It's always been automatic, but the programs you're playing are not necessarily good ones. And so it's like, wow, freedom is just that far away. It's very close.